flicks me a bad body. So, it's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Welcome to another edition of Stay Weighed In. It's your boy Ray, aka Lineal, with a special yet recurring guest, part of the show at this point, friend of the show, Mr. Ashanti, aka Future Undisputed, taking shots at someone we're going to discuss. But first and foremost, how are you?
I'm well. I hope you're doing well tonight. And to everyone watching, hope you're all having a good evening and enjoying the football international break, which is one of the worst times of the year.
Well, do you know what? On the days that England's not been competing, you know, some of the international, you know, fights were looking a bit juicy. But speaking of international, we go from UK boxing outfit Matchroom, who have now ventured into Australia. And let's go straight into it. Co-main event, title on the line. Sky Nicholson, who was called out by Tiara Brown for years. They finally face off. Kudos to Sky for taking a fight and not shying away. She did, as your name suggests, call herself Future Undisputed, but unfortunately, a split decision says otherwise. So, Ashanti, take her away. What was your verdict on the match?
I thought it was actually a good fight. I thought it was very close. Without bias, I watched it and rewatched it on Sunday, and I think I had it 5-5. If I'm honest, I had Sky quite comfortably up 4-2 after the first 6. I thought Tiara kind of hadn't established herself because it takes a while to adapt to that quite amateurish style. I thought she was up, but then undoubtedly Tiara Brown made it her own fight and, you know, got on the front foot and just wouldn't be deterred. Often a lot of fighters you see get frustrated by that amateur style. I'm thinking of Raven Chapman against Carrot Artenstall, and I will never use the word quit, but you can see some of them are so frustrated. They're not hurt, they're not anything, they're a bit angry and frustrated, and they're just like, I'm coming forward, and every time I do, I'm not being hurt, but I'm being touched, and they're moving off and spinning off and pivoting, and it's frustrating. And that's what Sky Nicholson does to everyone. You know, she it's almost like being put in a headlock or a guillotine, and you just can't get out. But Tiara Brown just said, no, not tonight. I thought it was very, very impressive. And I'm trying to think of the last boxer that did that, probably Daniel Dubois, who to AJ, you know, walked the walk and talked the talk.
Well, let's slow it down a bit. But yeah.
No, he was very confident. Daniel Dubois was very confident.
Yeah.
It wasn't that genuinely wasn't a shot. It was just I'm thinking.
No,
particularly underdogs.
Still team AJ out here, so mind what you say.
Think of if there are other boxers you can think of who were definitely underdogs and kind of came in with that confidence and said, you know what, trust me, this is what's about to happen, and it happened. Again, won't pretend to be a UFC guy, but I know there are people that are out there. I know that the chap that beat Leon Edmonds, is it Riley? Edwards, was it Riley?
No, that's Sean Brady.
Brady. Sorry, Brady.
Let's not talk about it. I doubt
he was an underdog. And again,
this is a boxing podcast. Let's stick to boxing. Shout out Leon Edwards. I'm being a sore loser right now.
She did. She talked in the press conference, at the weigh-in, online, Twitter, Instagram, probably platforms I haven't heard of. She might have been in Reddit. Who knows? She was in all the Reddit comments beforehand, telling everyone, give me a shot, you'll see what happens. And Sky looked like she was just moving comfortably through the division and was about to become Future Undisputed, was going to do everything that she said she said she was going to do. And Tiara Brown just not tonight. And I'll say really proud of boxing for giving her the decision when, like, it was a close fight. And when someone's kind of the big name in their hometown, the other one I can think of, and I think I was on for this pod talking about it, was Arnold Barbosa. I remember it being a split, and then the final card, you're like, Jack in Manchester, close. Barbados is probably not. Like, that's, as boxing fans, we're almost trained to believe
Do you know
that.
what though? I will give credit to Eddie on this part. There's a lot of promoters that's gonna rig when fights are that close. There's a lot of promoters that's gonna rig the fight for their fighter. And one thing I'll give Eddie is that there's a lot of times he could screw people over on his card, and he hasn't. And as low as that should seem, as low expectation is that the word I'm looking for, as low as an expectation that should be, that is not normally what happens. Normally what happens is, well, you're on our show card, so guess what? You're losing. Whereas there's a few times when Eddie's just, obviously he's hurting because his fighters are lost. These people that he's investing in have lost, but it's like, sometimes it's refreshing for big promoters to just let the result prevail. Let the fair result happen. Let's not screw anyone over. Let boxing be, I was going to say pure, but it's far from. But the fact that just let the competition be where it needs to be.
I won't say any names because, you know, I like my life, but there are definitely promoters out there who would stick it on judges for kind of giving the right decision, but, you know,
not even about sticking on judges. Whoa, no, don't do that to us. No.
To be very clear, I'm not a member of this podcast. I'm just a contributor because I don't want emails.
I would like to be very clear. I am not on the controls of the images. I am not on the control of the images. That's
you heard me saying I won't mention any names. You very clearly heard me say
all I'm saying.
No face, no case.
Well, you even said like some promoters would be on the judges for giving it that way. Guess what? Some promoters wouldn't even give the judges a chance to go that way. Some promoters are slipping them the money and say, yo, you already know what you need to do. So credit, and especially because, you know, Eddie, I've been saying this for a while when people have been getting on to Eddie saying, oh, you're losing the UK crowd. Let me tell you a secret that are naive to believe that. Eddie doesn't care. He has cashed out. He said, listen, me and AJ have been running the UK money-wise for years. We've got our millions. Those big UK nights are not going to come for a while. So Eddie just said, I'm going to go to Australia and I'm going to go to America. I'm going to apply my trade there. And, you know, shout out Frank Warren. He's been running UK boxing for a bit. It's almost like ever since they started working on Riyadh season and with Turkey, Eddie's kind of said, you know what, Frank? For now, you got it, man. Like he's kudos to Eddie and AJ. They squeezed the juice out of the UK. They squeezed the juice out of it. They made big money fights. They made, and this is where the gap's going to be felt by AJ not being as present. They made Wembley night seem normal. So all those people that always had issues with AJ for whatever reason, you're going to feel it when, you know, the less he fights, all those Wembley nights that you like, it's not going to be there. All them big money fights and big production is not going to be there. Come on, shout out Abbas, you know, dropping back in. Come on, shout out all, you know, my folks out there observing Ramadan right now. Eid soon land, I believe March 31st, so stay strong. But yeah, like, I think, especially with Fury retiring, and AJ, like, probably on the final phase of his career, I don't blame Eddie for just being like, if I'm not making the millions that I was making with AJ, you lot can have the UK scene for now anyway, because not insulting the rest of the talent there, but they ain't drawing the big money nights. So I get why Eddie's got,
to be honest, as in what we realistically think a singular big fight can sell out. There's not, I think, I know this is crazy, but if Eubank fought Canelo, then obviously it's Wembley. But we are talking fights on our like singular hands that are realistic. Because truly, no, Eubank could fight Canelo next year. I'm not.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at Abbas. Think I'm taking a shot.
Sorry.
Abbas, quick one. How many times have Fury retired? Nice trivia question for you. But so you were saying.
No, and just on AJ, just genuinely 30 seconds. I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors and he's just chilling in Nigeria with his child. I'm a bit worried when Eddie keeps saying that he's got like a niggling injury and isn't in camp and can't spar. I don't know if you've heard in the past 2 weeks he's been saying AJ won't be ready for, isn't training at the moment, has got some kind of injury, and maybe he doesn't, and it's just kind of promoter spiel. But when was the Dubois fight? It was was it December?
November, October.
But we weren't told, he'd ripped his shoulder or, torn anything, like a big injury. To not be back in some kind of sparring or on the back properly.
To be fair, he shouldn't be. I'm glad he's not sparring. He shouldn't be sparring if he's not in camp. But the way I see it, the guy's put his body through the ringer. The guy has the rate that he's gone on since he turned professional at a high level, because it annoys me sometimes when people are just like, oh, these high-level guys don't fight as often. And I said, if you know what it takes to prepare for high-level fights, no, you can't fight often. There's a lot of money put into camps. There's a lot of time that obviously I know it's a boxing show, but there's a famous MMA coach called FEROCIOUS, trained GSP, one of the best ever in MMA. And what he used to say why GSP fought twice a year, he goes, if camp takes 2 to 3 months, give or take, then you need to take in camp, then you need to take in the rest that the body needs to take, because, the older you get, the longer it takes your body to recover and everything. And then he goes, you also need time just to train. And I think people that don't train or haven't been around fighters in camp or fighters in training don't realize in camp, you're not meant to be learning new things. In camp, you are drilling. You're just constantly doing repetitions and drills of what's going to replicate in a fight. That is not learning. That is not making you a better fighter. That is not, you see sometimes fighters will fly over to here, there, and the third, just training with other people just to learn. You need time when you just need to learn. And I feel like AJ right now is in that phase of, let me take it easy on the body, because his ego might, the same pride and ego that makes him world champion is probably making him think I can still go for that belt. But in reality, I'm sure there's people around that know, like, you're in the final phase of your career. There's nothing for AJ right now. It's 1-5. Yeah, and he's right. And for me,
I don't agree with that. I think there's 3 decent fights. Parker's the 3rd. I think Dubois 2, and Fury.
I don't want to see Dubois. I don't want to see. I think he was alluding to the Fury fight being the one. Parker would be a good fight. If Parker gets the belt, that would be a very good fight to have. But I do not want to see the Dubois one. I'm also at the point of the next generation has taken over. Well, semi-taken over. Usyk is still at the top of the mountain. I know Ra, who's also part of iBoxingHub, doesn't like Usyk being there, but he's all like, oh, he should give up the belts. And I'm of the old school of, if you are better than him, beat him. The same way people used to complain about Better BF having all the belts. It's like, no. I don't care if he's old and it takes him long to recover. If you're better than him, beat him. I don't want someone to take over that's not better than him. That's why I liked what Dubois done, because Dubois went in there and he took, well, he didn't take it off AJ, but he let AJ know, like, yo, new generation's in town now. And for me, I'm at a point where I don't want AJ to be fighting new generation guys. Yo, you've done what you've done. You're not going to get thanked as much. Parker's a nice fight, but I'm going to say something a bit crazy. The wins are great for Parker, but slightly overrated. Zhang is limited. I love Wilder. And Bell was a step in the last. I think he means Bacoli. No, but you still have to beat those guys. Here's the thing with
Abbas, he's been reciting the name of Tyson Fury's 12 children. Like, he's been spending too much time doing that.
I'm not even. I don't get caught. I don't get caught in Abbas's trap. But just entertain parts of that conversation. What Parker's done has been remarkable, from his loss to Joyce to even that period when he lost to AJ the first time. Then he lost the split decision to White. And then he was a bit in a no man's land. And the way that he's, made his career turn around has been amazing. And the fact that even the Bacoli fight, I rate it even more, because guess what? There's a lot of people that's not going to go for the finish like he did. He went in there and he got him out of there quick. That's a sharp guy. He said, I'm not going to dilly-dally. go in there and take him out. If you're that good, go out and get him out of water ASAP. And that's what he done. And shout out to Bacoli's coach as well, who said, hey, guess what? We got another fight coming up. So here's the white towel. No, we've been paid. Time to go home.
Honestly,
that's the biggest win-win I've seen in a long time.
Billy, I think, was on like the Lloyd's banking app during the fight after the first round and was just like, oh no, Martin, it's come through.
Do you think he told like Bacoli to like go in for a firefight straight away, just so the moment you get touched, all right, cool, we're bringing you out?
I think he's a fighting man, and I know that's
of course. We're bantering a bit. It's tongue in cheek.
I don't think it was quite that clear, but he did say before the fight, it was like he's going to be super dangerous for 3 or 4 rounds, which tells me he knows he's really unfit. Let's try to stick on him, catch him if we can. If not, a really odd analogy, but a little bit like Sky Nicholson fight. It's like if we don't get him out after 4, I know that we're not going to catch up to him because he doesn't have the gas tank. So Joe Parker could have jabbed and moved the whole fight because Bacoli just didn't have it, which is I know some people have been critical of it, but I have no criticism because he's a guy who lives in Scotland. I think it's Airdrie. It's from Congo. And someone offered him, I can't pretend I know the figure, I just know it's
quite a lot of money.
You, I, and a lot of people listening to this podcast earning a year. And then he has a fight in like 3 months' time. So he's getting another good payday from Riyadh season.
And even the people saying that, talking about his chin, saying, I don't know if it's good that he got knocked out and then he's having another match in May. And my thing is, one, he actually got knocked down on it by his temple. It wasn't his chin that gave out. He got hit with a temple shot where if anyone gets hit with it, you can't train your temple. If that gets hit, everyone's losing their equilibrium. And his coach done the right thing. The moment he didn't take too much damage in that fight. The moment he took a bit of damage, the coach said, all right, cool, that's done. And he saved him.
Unfit, knocked out, has another fight.
Yeah.
It's just we literally live to fight another day, and the other day is already scheduled. So and I'm trying to think. It's again another odd analogy, but it's like if a team is 3-0 down in the first leg of a Champions League final, and then Champions League semi or knockout 2 leg, and then the second leg they go out and they play 4 up front because they're going for it, and someone's like, oh well, they can't defend, they lost 5-1. It's like, but it's special circumstances. They're not trying to lose 1-0 because they're already going out.
They're already through,
Martin Bacoli knew he'd literally been in Congo, like chilling on a beach, probably having a great time. 96 hours or 120 hours before the fight, and it's like, all right, I'll come off the couch, but I can't do any more than this. And so everyone's gone, put a shift in, try your best. We know you will. You obviously do want to win, but if we think you can't or there's going to be real damage, just move on to fight another day. So no criticism for me, but can we bring it on to Kambosos? Because before the fight,
I was just about to. I
heard Eddie Hearn say that the fight was a tremendous fight between Jake Wiley and Kambosos. There were 2 tremendous fighters. So
a promoter being a promoter, man, you already know what that is.
I have to be the media ombudsman. I've taken that phrase from my favorite American sports commentator, Nick Wright. I have to. He was the Australian lightweight champion. I believe he was currently ranked in Australia out of all of the lightweights. And I'm meant to believe he's tremendous. If he's tremendous, what is better than that? I would like to know.
Listen, a promoter's got to promote, man. Come on, don't do that.
You have to have shame as well. You have to have shame.
Listen. There is no shame in trying to sell an event where the guy that he's supposed to fight has dropped out. He's meant to hype up. For me, this is why Eddie's one of the best in the business, arguably the best, because he's the only guy that still actually promotes. That is what you're meant to do, even though we know that it's BS. Guess what? Sell it to me, Eddie.
He'd be good in a nightclub as a wingman at 19 because he'd have no shame. He'd just be there telling a girl he's going to take her to Rome tomorrow and she's the best looking girl he's ever seen and X, Y, Z.
Listen, brilliant wingman as well. He's telling the girl, listen, this guy, I've known him since he's a little stand-up guy. Couldn't believe it. Look, that ironically you use the, Eddie
saved
and
the
Conor
puppy
Ben.
last week. I don't like to mention it. He'll never talk about it, but truly there was a puppy in a pond and he just jumped in and saved it. Like, we've all got one of those friends when we were younger.
And
Who
you
used to tell
need
every girl he wanted to get
listen.
with that he loved her, or he saw
Of
something serious.
course,
And Eddie
crazy.
100% is that guy. And then the next day is just like,
That's why they can never make me hate Eddie, because there's a lot of promoters that have, once they taste the success, they stop promoting. They just let the machine run itself. Whereas Eddie's one of the few guys where the machine can run itself, but I'm gonna still go out there and when I need to hype up a situation, even if it's shameless, for me, I'm always on the fighter's side. So if it gets the fighters bank more money, promote ahead. However,
zero shame.
go ahead.
Zero
shame. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes have shame.
I truly
Sometimes
heard
don't
him
have
like
shame.
a month ago say that. I think he used the word deluded, but he didn't really mean it. He was like, "Yeah, I still think AJ will knock Dubois out." It's like, mate, do we not?
I
What more
love
evidence?
that.
What more evidence do you need?
Guess what? If
He genuinely
AJ,
tell you that AJ could beat Usyk.
I love that.
Like,
If AJ is his guy,
Third time's
he's
a charm.
saying, I
Third
love
time's a
it.
charm.
I love it. But that's what I'm saying. Well, listen, I still remember when Terence Crawford was out here beating up guys, and Bob Arum's just like, yeah, I'm losing money on Crawford. I don't care no more. And you're just like, brother, no wonder he's not selling, because you're not promoting him. And the worst thing is, the biggest lie they tried to tell us was Crawford has no personality. And the funniest thing is, do you know who brings out personality out of Crawford and he's not even his promoter? Eddie.
Yeah.
I've seen Eddie get us, show the competitive nature side of, and it's refreshing because I feel like Crawford is one of those guys. He's just a competitor. He is just, and we need to make that marketable again.
You've obviously seen that gym video of him genuinely in jeans and trainers, just picking up 400 pounds just
if you've been on Crawford's social media before, I'm not even on socials, but the content finds me. Have you seen he's even with card games with his family? What's good, right? But even with card games in his family, Crawford's just like, yo, I have to win, and he'll find a way. Even when I think Eddie tried to play Crawford at darts, and then he finds out that Crawford is like some professional part of a professional darts league, and I'm like, that's promoting. That's what you need.
In my professional life that I've worked with and been around some high level sports people, I would say it's pretty much one of the main attributes that separates them from every normal human being is 80 to 90% of them that I've met hate losing at everything, eating quicker than someone else, getting to the front of a queue, anything in life. If there is some way that there's a person that can do it and they can beat that time, height, whatever it might be, bet you I could get up this lift quicker than you. So why would I want to do that? And they're like, we'll see. All right.
And I love it. And I think we need to, as boxing needs a reset of making competitors interesting again. I'm tired of people that's not genuine trash talkers. I'm tired of fights that aren't genuine rivalries. That's why Ben and Eubank, and once again, look, shout out Matchroom again and shout out Eubank, because they've started doing mainstream promotion again. This is the first time I've seen boxers on mainstream promotion in a long time. I have not seen promotion like this. Normally it's just internet channels, but they've gone old school and said, if you guys want the new gen of, Eubank first Ben, let's go through the old route and get, the previous generation and go through the traditional routes as well as the internet. But we digress. Hold on, you're right. Here's Ra says, you're right. My brother-in-law was a schoolboy at Man City in his youth, and even now in his 50s, a friendly five-a-side family game, he's going in. And it's annoying sometimes. However, I can respect it from active athletes. And I feel like Crawford does it in a tasteful way where he's not a complete prick about it. So I think that's why, for me,
he's just a winner. He's just a win.
That's the worst. He's not even just competitive. He's a winner. That's what makes it. I feel like someone bless him, this ain't shots at him, but it's what it is. For me, someone like Shakur is a competitor. So it's he's the type that you can tell he will be annoying because he's even if he loses, he's gonna keep on going. Whereas
he's a champ. He's a chirper. You know, one of those guys that brings it up in the morning at the hotel, like breakfast, like, hey, you know what I did? And Crawford just like gives you the eyes and is like, you know what happened.
Apparently that's how their friendship started, because Shakur was giving it the big one, saying like, watch, anyone out there, like, you're getting this whooping. And he goes, the whooping Crawford put on him was crazy. But he goes, Crawford respected the fact that he was just like,
he took a beating.
Yeah, like not even just how he took the beating. I think he was just like, he liked the competitive energy of Shakur, just being like, that's gonna make you special. You shouldn't have come to me like that, but it's gonna make you special.
Two crazy people together.
I get what you're saying, Ra. So lose, nah. I don't like. There's a certain extent of.
There's a line. There really is a line. That's a wild thing of like my
it just looks nasty.
But I have to agree. Was it Ra that made the point? I agree with him, because you do hear high-level boxers, because we're talking about boxing, but sports, and there's always an excuse. Podcasts I listen to, boxers always find a way to make an excuse. It's, you know, Chris Eubank Jr. It's like, oh, I was down to 157 for the fight before, and you know that might have affected the weight, and that's why I got caught on the chin early. Like, you know, and no, I
don't totally disagree with that.
No, neither do I. But I'm just saying, those again, hyper competitive. It's like, no, you didn't really beat me. I beat myself, because if I was me, I would have won. But there's a line.
It's a thin line, and sometimes, like you said, sometimes I like the fact, I like people that hate losing more than they like winning. I don't mind that. But then when it's like, yo, you genuinely lost and you cannot wrap your brain around it, that's when it gets annoying, because it's just like, you're just being a dickhead.
I love the people that, you know, it keeps them up at night after the, you know, fight. I would say for her, I think Sky Nicholson, I would not be surprised if, I think she's probably gone back to Australia. I reckon she's rewatching that fight and is up at night just like, it was such a close fight. How did I not? If I'd have landed literally 3 more punches in a couple of rounds, I probably would have, you know, won, and I'd have still been, you know, sailing to where I think I'm going to. I need that lick back. That you being all nice.
Do you know who had a healthy amount of that? One of my all-time favorites, Lennox Lewis. I remember watching his doc, and then when he took both his surprise losses, he had the ego to be like, I know I'm better than them, but he also realized, I know what, he identified quickly, I know what I done that made me lose. I'm gonna get my lick back. And that's the mentality I like. But he didn't go in there like, no, he didn't beat me. Yeah, he didn't.
I know who I am. I'm still Lennox. I'm still.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm better than him, but he won this night. He won this night. Kudos to him for winning this night. I'm gonna get my lick back because I am better than you.
Yeah, let me.
That's what I like.
And I'll prove it to you. Yeah.
Whereas we don't like when, like, how Fury took the loss to Usyk, or how, like you said, Wilder took the loss to Fury. Ironically, where it's just like, brother, coming up with all the excuses, it's almost like, I wonder if they're going to look back and be embarrassed of like how they carry themselves. And even, you know, wow, what a shot. My guy, Errol Spence, this is why I love him. He just said, throughout the whole time that a lot of fans are chatting rubbish on his behalf, Errol's just always been like, yo, I went in there, I took a whipping, and it is what it is. There's no.
I don't think that you're going to be able to do it because I lost to Terence Crawford. You know, it's that kind of, don't start disrespecting me. I'm still Errol Spence. Like,
that's why. Exactly.
I'm not every other guy.
Errol Spence is like, I'm still whoop every one of you. But Crawford went in there. Yeah. He gave a whooping. I took it like a man. He went out on his shield because that. Listen, kudos to Spence was still standing there like, you're gonna have to kill me. And that's why I think them two have so much good mutual respect for each other, because it was just like, you know, Spence gave credit to Bud, you done your thing, and then I think Bud saw that, oh no, you're really like you're off that, you're cut off that elite cloth of like, wow, that's the real deal right there. But we digress, because the main point, you brought up a theory to me which I vehemently disagree with. You said, is Chris Eubank Jr. as accomplished. Well, no. You state the statement because I don't want to mess up what you was implying.
Yeah, is what's the difference in careers between Chris Eubank Jr. and George Ferociously Average Kambosos?
Brilliant. I want to premise it with this because I know you got notes. George Kambosos is one of my favorite fighters of this era, and I'll tell you why. Never have I seen an overachiever max out their moment in the best way possible than he had. He went in there against Teofimo, and I'm upset because, you know, shout out our former co-host Steve. I don't know what it was. Steve said, yo, I think George is gonna beat Teo. And imagine at that time of Teo coming off of the win against Loma, Steve was convinced, not even like a lucky guess or something.
Oh, wow.
Steve was saying, yo, Kambosos is going to beat him. I don't know where it was. He was just like, yo, Kambosos is going to beat him. So Kambosos goes in there. He does what he does. He gets that first round knockdown. We're all in shock. You know, Teo tried to mount a late comeback, but it was too little too late. George wins the title in dramatic fashion. Away fighter. I hear that, but when you're undefeated and lose, it's difficult to place that. It's like when I failed at A-levels first time around. I couldn't believe it. Well, guess what? When you failed at A-level, guess what didn't change even though you was in shock? Guess what you had to do? You had to go back home and study again, right?
Get your lip back.
That's it. No evidence yet that anyone can else do what Bud did. Yeah, that's correct. But back to Kambosos. My thing with Kambosos is this. This is a guy that you was primarily known just as Pacquiao's sparring partner. So the fact that you got yourself to mandatory position and basically you was brought in there to be a showcase for Teofimo. Not only was you not a pushover, you knocked him down in the first round when Teo tried to rush you. You end up winning the fight. He went on every other media outlet that would take him. He went on there. He got his name out there. He was on Joe Rogan. He was on this. He was on that. Then he manages, and this is another thing I'll give him credit for. He apparently had a conversation with Devin Haney, and he told him, if I win the belt, you're going to get your undisputed title shot. And for me, that was more shocking because I was thinking to myself, if I'm George, I'm sorry, I'm doing a victory lap in Australia against an easy opponent just to say that I defended my undisputed belts. But kudos to him. He sold out a stadium and he went against Devin Haney right away. And this is why I like George Kambosos, because when other people try to chat rubbish on him, he can always say, yo, have you seen the tickets I've sold? Have you seen the seats? Like, people come out to see me, point blank, period. Cam isn't as bad as me. Wait, who's Cam? Who are you talking about?
Kambosos
isn't as bad as. I think it's not that he's just not as elite. I don't even think he took the Andy Ruiz formula, because for me, Kambosos' mentality. Oh yeah, obviously he only loses. This is what I mean. For Kambosos, he only loses to elite guys. And arguably Maxi Hughes. But what I will say is this.
I've got another one down on my notes that I shall allow you.
Oh, the fight before he got the Kambo. I know what you're talking about. But what the point being is this. He was meant to be, by all means, someone of his journey, a B-level fighter. You went out there and you beat a prospect that was meant to be the new guy. You maximized your time out there, and then you went straight away to face another prospect on the rise. You lost to Devin Haney, and kudos to him for getting a good contract. He got a rematch again in Australia. Again, big numbers. Not as big as a stadium fight, but big number arena match. He lost. You made bank in both of them. And then you went to face Loma, when in reality, you didn't. Wait, who? That was a vacated IBF belt, isn't it? And if I remember correctly, it didn't have to be Loma that he had to face. I think he would have faced someone else. and he chose to face Loma. I've forgotten what the situation was, but basically he chose Loma. I don't know why George had the capabilities to choose the opponent, even though he was an IBF champion. But
Spartan Warrior, mate. Spartan Warrior. No,
listen, and that's what my thing with George Kambosos is. I'll give him full credit because he's only fought whenever he's had a chance. He'll fight the best. 2, carpe diem. He maximized his time in the sun. So I've always have respect for him because I said, listen, shout out the overachievers out there. It's like my diatribe is gonna come down in a bit, but it's like when Leicester won the Prem, and then there are certain players that went on to. I was gonna be respectful, not mention names, but Danny Drinkwater. I remember when he went to Chelsea, and people were just like, "Oh my gosh, you sold out," and I said, "Listen, that guy's probably thinking, what the pardon my language, what the fuck am I doing, winning a Premiership? My career was not meant to be. I'm meant to be a Championship level player. I've gone and had this freak season, and I've won the Prem with Leicester. You're damn right I'm cashing out. You are damn... Get me that big Chelsea transfer. Get me that big contract, because I'm not meant to be here." So I salute all the overachievers that maximize their moment, because guess what? You may not be there, and, you know, who won another Prem? Drinkwater, exactly. I think you're talking about Drinkwater, but he wasn't the main guy when he done it. And guess what? That's okay, because he done it with Leicester as the main guy. And, you know, the same way I'm saying Kambosos, when it counted, he won. You maximized your time in the sun. And now people are looking at him saying, he ain't that great. But guess what? For someone that started out as being known as Pacquiao's sparring partner, he's made a lane for himself, and I'm sure he's doing better than a lot of people that are high level than him. However, secure the bag is okay. However, when you said Chris Eubank is similarly accomplished to him, no. Because Chris Eubank has never been a unified champion. And I'm a Chris Eubank Jr. advocate. For the simple fact that Chris Eubank has never jumped the hump when it came to that title shot, we cannot compare. So Ashanti, after this long diatribe I've gone, please take the floor.
Well, let me preface it by saying you are completely right. What my statement is slightly facetious, because by definition, he's not as accomplished, because I think he was the undisputed Ring Magazine champion. You know, he had all the belts. So literally by definition, it's like saying, I've won 3 FA Cups, but someone's won a Champions League. It's like, yeah, we know who will be seen as the most successful because I've got a Champions League. So yes, but I think firstly, I'd like to make the point that Chris Eubank, I believe, is a 2 or 3 time IBO world champion. So
don't. That is nasty. That is a nasty. Yo.
In the world holding that beautiful green belt. So, you know, there were times that the WBO wasn't seen as a legitimate.
Wait. Quick question. Your shoulder is not in pain. Wait. Is your shoulder in pain? No dislocation, nothing. That's a big reach right there. That is a big reach right there. You need to be careful. Got short arms. Listen, you can dislocate an arm with a reach like that. That's crazy.
Thank you, Andrew. And I would say also, I believe it's two time.
So
yeah, exactly.
Man, the first time was so nice. I had to do it twice. Exactly. 2 times.
Exactly. So, but here's some facts over feelings right now. I prefaced it undisputed, so by definition, yes. But everything else, I think you'll find that it's very close, and I would actually have Eubank Jr. edging it. Again, need to add, Eubank's a little bit older, 3 years older.
A little bit older, and he got
Raymond.
No, thank you. His name, but sorry, go on. Sorry.
So, who is Kambosos' best? Who is Kambosos' best win?
Teofimo.
Of course. How many current or former world champions has Kambosos beaten?
1.
No, the answer is 3. Former and current.
Okay.
Mickey Bay.
Okay.
Mayweather world champion, let's call him that. Lee Selby, Lightning Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Fought him when he'd gone up 2 divisions from 126 to 140 or 135, but you know, and then obviously TO as well.
Yeah.
lost to Maxi Hughes. I mean,
Yeah,
Ray Charles,
yeah.
Stevie
Top-
Wonder.
Top rank. No. This goes back to my point. Top rank done what they needed to do. Whereas
Yeah,
where we were saying Eddie might
on the carpet, it's a quick interview afterwards of, no, it was a really close fight, and then there's no highlights, no footage.
That's shameless. That's the real shamelessness.
Did that fight happen? I'll have to go back on. But I can't.
Do you know what's even? Do you want to know what's even funnier about that? If I'm correct, that was his last fight on Top Rank. So I'm surprised that they rigged it for him, knowing that was the last fight. But shout out Bob Arum.
I had Maximus 8-4. I vividly remember the fight with Lee Selby. Thought that Lee Selby beat him again.
That's
I had it.
Argued.
I think I had it a solid 7-5 or an 8-4, like a weaker 8-4, but a clear win for Lee Selby. And then, so I could not believe it. So there's that. And then pretty much had to get dragged out and quit against Loma, who doesn't punch. But before the fight, I have to, and I know, again, it's the Eddie Hearn thing, you have to be confident, but I have to hear the art of war. I'm a Greek warrior. I'm a Spartan. No retreat, no surrender. Oh, I'll never be stopped. Oh, no man will blah, 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 blah. Jim's just there, just with his big head as well, just talking rubbish. And then Loma just has to put a beating on him. So Chris has never had a beating put on him. And if he fights Hitchens, Hitchens is going to do the same thing. So in my opinion, he's going to
let me tell you something. That's going to be a horrible fight. That fight is going to be... I honestly would rather Hitchens versus Tio. Only because, well, one, I believe Hitchens got the style to beat Tio. Two is fuck Tio and everyone that's with him. And three, I call it the fight for relevancy because they both are in the who cares category. Unfortunately, world champions, but who cares? As much as Tio likes to, he's the worst type of person because he thinks he's smart. And I can't stand people that think. There's being smart and there's thinking you're smart. Tio is
and his dad reminds me of Danny Garcia's father.
No, don't insult Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia got Angel Garcia was the truth. Let me tell you something. when Danny was facing Matisse, Angel put on a promo masterclass for a son that's not good at trash talk. No, not even good at trash talk. For a son that's not even good at promotion, Angel made sure he went out there. He goes, "You're gonna hate me, and you're gonna pay attention to my son." And so, we don't do Angel Garcia slander. At least don't compare Tio Senior to Angel Garcia. There's levels.
And so the Hitchens.
Abbas got a point for you.
Yeah, he's correct. He is correct. George's biggest win is always going to be more memorable because Tio the takeover and undisputed, but Chris has more star power. And yeah, of course, that's exactly what I'm saying. And when I can see he can't and shan't beat anyone at championship.
Who else is in? Seems to be just elite slick technical.
Oh, is Maxi Hughes an elite slick technical boxer now? I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize Maxi had jumped up to elite technical, but he's a good fighter.
Wait. Who else is one champion at 140? So we've got Hitchens, Tio. Devin's dropped the belt at WBC, so that's vacant.
Rolly's not. They're not fighting. No, they're just.
No, who beat Rolly again? Is it Rayo? No, but Rayo lost to Antoine Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Antoine Russell's the other guy who's also no man's land of dangerous fight, little reward.
Mm-hmm. But 84 Gary Russell, so no one knows who's fighting.
And Kambosos ain't been Russell either.
No, thank you. So where was I? Oh, shout out to my friend Dave. He just had a child. So when his child's not sleeping, I'm going to put the Hitchens Kambosos fight on for the baby so that it does fall asleep because that'll be, he'll need some respite at like 2-3 a.m. So do
you know what's funny about that fight? I don't know why Hitchens thinks he's going to get fans being Kambosos, because Hitchens is literally better off going to Australia for the fight, because in America you ain't gonna draw nothing.
Money and I'd imagine, I know there are loads of sports out there, but when the timing is right, I imagine boxing is massive for that. You know, I imagine for a week or two, Kambosos is a huge name and is probably rolled out on TV. Hitchens will be the 8th best boxer in the like New York area for a couple of weeks, and everyone will just go, "Oh right, is his name Richard? Richard's son?" I don't even know what his name is.
Do you know what's worse? Him and Tio are in the same boat of your world champion from New York, and no one wants to come out to see you in New York.
People would prefer to go and watch 50 Cent in a park rapping Many Men from 2004.
Yo, first off, why does that seem like a shot at 50 Cent? 50,
it's not. No, it is not. 50 was my favorite rapper growing up.
I'm like, yo,
it was more just about like relevancy. Like 50,
of course, yeah.
People would still prefer to just go to a random park in Harlem.
Ra's got, that is so rude, but Ra's got a question for you.
I do.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I think an on-form Eubank who actually has a trainer who puts tactics together, and he actually has a few good training camps. I think he could beat Janibek and maybe Adames. I thought Janibek the last couple of fights hasn't been super impressive. Adames, I like him though, but you do wonder if he's about 38. You do wonder if he'll fall off.
Let me tell you something. One shout out Adames in his last fight because he stuck on Hamza. He made Hamza go up in weight class. What I will say this about Chris Eubank, he is respectfully penny pinching. He is not paying a top trainer to train. He's at a point of his career. He's like, listen, I want big money fights, and I'm not going to get a big money trainer to come in and, you know, take me to the next level. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy, find the way I am with the coach.
Instagram reel highlights. I mean, he's been trained by Benny Banks at the moment, isn't he?
I don't. And was it you? It might have been you actually. When I was saying I liked him with Bomac, but then you were saying about how Bomac can't enter the UK after the gun charge and everything.
That isn't actually even conjecture. That's a factual statement. He did not go to prison. They did everything. He had to sign saying he's. I don't know if it's forever, but it will be at least 5 or 10 years.
Significant. But do you know what?
Not allowed back in the country.
What is so upsetting about it is like that's the first time Eubank looked like a world beater.
And you have to listen to and respect Bomac because it's like, oh, have you trained anyone else, Bomac? And then Terence is just on the bags next to you, just doing
Terence Crawford. He contributes to Keyshawn Davis. Like Bomac's the real deal, but then it's so upsetting because the little tribute Roy Jones Jr. tribute that Eubank was doing for years was so. Oh, I hate it. Oh, that hurt me, man. And the worst thing is, I know Chris looks back and regrets that because he's probably thinking, I probably gave Roy Jones a lot of money. And you look back and it's like, I love Roy Jones, but I've always said he must be the worst trainer only because how are you going to teach people when you ignore the fundamentals because you was that physically gifted? So how are you going to tell other people? Like, you can't give other people your source because what you was doing is so unnatural and so unconventional. It's specific to you. Yeah. So then when Roy Jones Jr. was doing his tribute act of how Roy Jones was fighting, it was just like watching it thinking, and Chris, you haven't got the capabilities to do what Roy Jones was doing. Most people can't. So it's not even a diss on Chris.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, that change to Roy also contributed to parts of his relationship. Yes, I would agree. That's the first time I saw Senior actually criticizing Chris because it was kind of just like, yo, how you're fighting right now, how's that going to improve you? And I feel like that was at a time where Chris Jr. was still trying to push for world title aspirations. So he chose the wrong time to get with Roy Jones Jr. because that was at a pivotal time, and it was just like,
and had to live in a swamp in Florida somewhere, probably getting bitten by chickens and stuff.
That is hilarious.
It's not what you need. But to finish, there's a reason why
Go on.
every fighter who's decent wants to fight Kambosos, because they know it's an easy win. In my opinion,
Yeah.
he should be 20. He's 22-3. He should be 20-5. That's my opinion. Record isn't everything. They say it's for DJs, but that's the kind of idiom everyone always uses. And it's always people that have lost. I hope Sky Nicholson uses it soon. Oh, mate, records are for DJs. It's like, yeah, you weren't saying that 2 weeks ago, but thanks for that, Sky. Yeah, it's always people that have lost. I've never heard Floyd Mayweather say it once. No, I've never heard Bud say it. But
you can't say that's unfair. You can't mention the anomalies and say what they didn't say. Those are the anomalies. They're not meant to.
Okay, but I just did say it.
Hilarious, fair enough.
10 KOs, so he's got a 40% knockout ratio. Couldn't knock out Jacob Wiley, who I would imagine last week was changing tyres, probably at a garage somewhere in a part of Australia, because there's no way that chap is a full-time boxer, because
no one said.
I saw him doing interviews and it looked like he was a deer in headlights. He clearly
No one said that the man was a world beater. We just said he seized the moment. However,
by definition, he is a world beater because he's been an undisputed champion. So,
unified. Let's not say undisputed. Unified. Because if it can be disputed, then it's not undisputed.
Fair.
That's Devin Haney.
He was a ring champion. In terms
former lineal.
Allow me to move on to the main man.
Wait. Conclude then. To conclude.
No, because I need to make a comparison. That's
okay. Go ahead.
It's a comparative study. It's like English Lit A level. Christopher Livingston Eubank Jr., aka Next Gen. Best wins. Some of them I wrote down. Dimitri Chudanov, not bad. Artur Abraham, just so you know, Artur Abraham, 2-weight world champion at both 160.
That comes with context.
Excuse
me. Where
Raymond?
Was Artur in his career when that happened?
Raymond, please just, I'm just starting.
Okay, go on.
Finish.
This is nasty. It's nasty, but go ahead.
Avni Yildirim in his backyard. He's obviously Turkish, but he fought him in Germany, where many people of Turkish descent live. So he was a big underdog and chinned him in front of the world in the yeah. No. This is not Chris.
Boo him in the chat. Carry on, Ashanti, but boo him in the chat.
Standing for Chris Eubank Jr. At the time, Avni Yildirim was very highly rated. I think he was the WBC #1 contender. He was genuinely the favourite in that fight, especially being at home. A lot of people, and it was seen as a really, really big win for Eubank Jr.'s career, knocking out someone who was quite highly ranked. Seriously, go back in the annals of history. Have a look.
So
James Chunky DeGale, I will add, the first British boxer ever to win an Olympic gold and a legitimate world title. So, that's history for you. Matiev Korobov, Liam Williams, and Liam Smigger Smith. And yes, beaten 3 former world champions, Liam Smith, James Chunky DeGale, MBE, and Artur Abraham. He's lost at the height, at a super.
Thank you, Ra.
I wasn't. No. Sorry, there was no ridiculing Maxi Hughes. I'm a big fan of him. I love Josh Warrington, like Sean Hagan. He's a very, very good boxer. Calling him an elite technical boxer. That's what I wasn't calling him. But
do you know what you're doing right now? Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. Finish first. I don't want
to. Again, Abbas was right. I mean, I'm just trying to get into my flow and unable to. So it does feel like you're bullying me a little bit. Lost to George the Saint Groves, Billy Joe Saunders, former Olympian. I believe Billy was one of the youngest boxing Olympians we've ever had at 18 or 19. And Liam Smith, but he got his lick back. We also spoke about the 157 catch weight likely affecting his ability to kind of hydrate and how he was looking on fight night, but then put a big time beating on Liam Smith. Fought across 2 weights, 160 and 168, and has been very, very good at both.
Moderator, put up Lars Ray's latest comment, please. He's absolutely right.
I do actually, they're not biological, but 2 of my uncles are actually very highly rated barristers. So
I can tell they've dropped down.
One of them's actually quite a well-known TV barrister. So if that gives you any clues.
Al Booger.
Sorry?
Look what Al Booger put that again.
Yes.
This is some of the nasty. You know what you're doing right now,
Don't make me get Deneo back up and make him have to rap to "It's Chunky."
What? let me tell you. Wait, are you finished or are you done?
Just about to round up. 25 KOs,
Okay.
37 fights, 63%, 34-3. About to be 35-3 when he puts a whooping on Conor Nigel Benn. So yes, better wins, more wins, better KOs, bigger tournament. WBSS, made it to the semi-finals and lost to a fantastic.
Made it to the finals. Remember, against George Groves. George Groves was the finals.
No, because Callum Smith won it. It was the semis. Callum Smith definitely won it because George did it.
Oh yes. No, wait. Callum Smith, was that the second one? Did George compete in it? Okay, we've got Google for this. You carry on. Sorry.
I'm pretty much finished, but I'm just saying, Kambosos' best wins are former world champions. Tio, again, I told you, stand out. Mickey Bay, a Mayweather world champion. Lee Selby, up 2 weights nearly at the end of his career, who he lost to. But Chris Eubank Jr., Liam Smith, a very good fighter from a fighting family as well.
Don't do that, because I know your real feeling about the Smiths, so don't do that.
James
is the nastiest.
Oh, I should have. No. I have to add this. I forgot to add a knockout. Also, knocked Conor Benn out with an egg on stage.
Yeah, that is a good win.
Yeah, I mean, in the Egg World Championships, he's 1-0, 1 KO as well.
Listen.
And so, I mean, I don't know where I add that as an addendum to his official fight record. I can't see it on BoxRec, but it should be somewhere. Yeah, as I said. Are you not entertained? Are you not also persuaded?
I'm entertained, thoroughly entertained, disgusted, but thoroughly entertained, and I appreciate you coming with this narrative, even though it's some of the nastiest. Do you want to know why it's more nasty? Because you contradict yourself whilst making your own statements. Because when it came to George Kambosos wins against former world champions, you provided them all with context to let you know the reality of who did you say outside of Tio again? Remind me of who he's beaten. Who came up 2 weight classes?
Mickey Bay. I just said he was a Mayweather.
Mickey Bay, but you mentioned, rightfully so, you mentioned he came up 2 weight classes. Then his other world championship win was, sorry?
Oh, Mickey Bay, Lee Selby, Tio.
Lee Selby was another one that, you rightly put context behind it. However, it seemed that when it was time to mention Chris Eubank's former championship wins, you didn't bring up context of the girl was past it and retired straight after.
I said that he was.
You never. No.
And a legitimate world champion.
Give context of where those fighters were in their career when you faced them.
Oh, sorry.
Liam Smith was past it.
No.
The girl was past it.
I'm being facetious with James DeGale. It was his right time.
Of course. I know, but there's more people you was being. Yes, he was.
No. Liam Smith now isn't past it. He's going to beat Aaron McKenna. Do not be surprised if Liam Smith has a this is not me winding you up.
Is Aaron McKenna world champion?
No. But Liam Smith will use that as a step up and will fight.
Yes, of course. But I'm saying at a world championship level, Liam Smith is not beating the current middleweights.
Well, he's a 154 fighter. He won his title at 154. So,
listen, this is the most disingenuous. I like it. I actually like it, and you nearly got away with it too.
Who are the current 154 champions?
Do you know what this is the equivalent of? This is the equivalent of those pesky kids that go on socials not knowing their history, and then I'm going to purposely use this player because I know you and Abbas are going to be cornered when I bring this guy up. We watched this, this Maverick play in real time and saw the real impact he had, even though stats didn't show it. Eden Hazard was a guy that produced magic on the pitch that in today's day with robotic systems and people just looking at the stats, Eden Hazard would suffer because everyone's going to look at the stats and say, wow, this guy isn't special. If you actually loved the game of football and watched it, you would know how much top teams hated Eden Hazard, because even if he wasn't on the goal sheet, even if he wasn't on the stat sheet, that guy was giving people hell. And then you have the likes of, And I hate it had to be him on the receiving end of it because he's doing magnificent things. Magnificent. Mo Salah. And as good as the stats are for Mo Salah right now, he, for me, and for many people that watch football for the actual enjoyment and not for stats, would say he's great, but he's still not on the level of a Thierry Henry in his prime. He's still not the level of, you see, like, many people know Ronaldo from Madrid time, but if you knew Ronaldo from 06 to 09, when he was a winger and he was just balling out for the sake of balling out, like he wasn't the stats man. This was balling out Ronaldo on the wing.
But you saw it with your eyes and you just thought,
yes,
this man.
And you said, yeah. So even though
taken off, like
exactly, so even though Salah's stats show that, yo, what a guy, what goals he's producing, and it's brilliant. You cannot take away from him. Those who have context know that it's
Salah's
not
a killer.
out.
He's really clinical, but there are games where he doesn't turn up because of the style of play he plays. It's like
the one
I might do something, whereas there's players like the Ronaldos that Hazard who just
they've got the jinky-me-jinky. These players don't have the jinky-me-jinky no more. They don't know how to take people one-on-one. Shout out Eze yesterday. He was the first winger I saw for England that actually knew how to take someone on. And the reason I used all of those analogies is for this. Context is king, because you was making good points about Eubank's best victories over former champions. However, the context of when he beat those champions still does not outdo George's. You can call George a one-hit wonder, but my goodness, he beat Theo coming off of a victory over Loma. Chris Eubank Jr. is my guy. He does not have a win like that.
No, but I said that, but I'm talking about cumulative, and I don't even bring
even
up
cumulative.
Even beneath those kind of wins I'm talking about, he's got 4 or 5 decent wins at like British level. Spike O'Sullivan, those kind of guys that also add into it, because George Kambosos doesn't. Yeah,
Spike O'Sullivan.
Yeah, Gary Spike O'Sullivan.
I want people
Marcus
to throw
Morrison.
Put those tomatoes in the comment, because this is
Marcus Morrison.
Marcus. Who did he beat after? The only thing we think about when we say Morrison is Mark.
No, I think of Morrison.
And Marcus Morrison in Return of the Mac.
Exactly, Nicky Blackwell. This is what I'm saying. He's got 4 or 5 good wins. I need to have a look on Google, because I know that there's some more that I can name, and you'll be like, oh, right.
Actually, no. Nick Blackwell, I'll give that. Spike O'Sullivan is the most nasty. That is a guy that he's meant to be going in there and beating.
Yeah, Korobov. I mean, I forgot. Reynold Quinlan, what a fighter. Wow.
You're good. You're good. You're very good.
How did I forget Reynold Quinlan?
I like it. Listen.
He was a very highly rated Australasian fighter. So he might have been higher rated than
this is why you're a recurring guest, because you get the people going. You really get the people.
All jokes aside, though, have I not? And
you had us for a minute.
Have I not made you think that it's closer than you think? And actually,
it is. To be honest, this is where it is. It's a 1A, 1B situation. Without that Teofimo win, you are right. However, there is that Teofimo win, and by default, that Teofimo win puts him on top.
Yeah,
even though cumulative rise, you are correct, because Eubank has done more cumulative wise.
But of their top 8 wins, Chris may have 6 of them.
Of course.
Kambosos has 1 and maybe 4 or 5. Like, let's not do it now. But Lee Selby's up there.
Yeah, but I don't know. But that's what I said.
And Chris has got 2, 3, 6, 7, maybe 8. So yeah, Korobov.
I think Eubank would have lost to Charlo at that point.
Yes,
the best Eubank we have seen is him with Bomac. That's the truth. The best Eubank, and I remember after he got revenge on Smith using Bomac, I remember saying, now is the time for that world title charge, because the way he's looking now.
I was so disappointed he didn't. But when he beats Conor Benn, son of a legend, son of a legend, then
He's gonna retire, man. There ain't gonna be no more money fights for him.
no. I genuinely think he may fight Canelo because I think that Canelo.
Yeah, but that's different
crazy.
though. That's a money fight. That's what I'm saying. Unless Canelo isn't for the love of getting a world championship. Canelo is
10 million.
That is good money. Oh my God. He even said it himself. He done an interview with Seconds Out, and he goes, "I don't care about boxing." He uses it to keep in shape because, similar to his old man, his lifestyle is keeping fit, which is very good. He keeps fit and healthy. So I think he uses boxing in that way to keep him sharp. However, that desire to be a world champion is not there. And I feel like that's another reason why seniors are upset with him, because it's almost like, I live by the warrior code. You're taking my name and not living by the warrior code. It must perturb him a bit because he wants him to take it serious. But I also respect Eubank, who's just like,
cash cow. Yeah. I'm talking about myself, so I can't talk in third person, but we can't want it for him more than he wants it for himself. As in, like I said, after that Bomac Liam Smith fight, I was like, it's a decent win, like lick back. It's 1-1, but Eubank came out on top because he had the final win, and people forget about the one before. Push on now, use your name, use Bomac, use Terrence to try and get up the rankings, say to the WBO or whomever, the IBF, put me 1 or 2. Well, he was 1, I think. I think he was like top 3 in like three organizations, and then he's just gone.
Didn't he become mandatory? And he literally told the board, "Listen, don't you dare put me number 1." He was literally telling them like, "No, I'm rejecting it. Like, don't put me number 1."
Alan Canuli, so I think I'll be okay. Give him to Denzel. Like, he wanted no part of it because he probably would have got £1 million to have that fight when he's going to get. You hear rumors, but a lot of money to fight 5'7" Conor Benn.
That Conor Benn fight is going to. They are selling out that Tottenham Stadium, and they're going to rake in literal millions. If I'm him, I'm not effing that up either.
No. And remember, there's a rematch as well. So if he does win relatively comfortably, he's probably bagging 12 million for those 2 fights.
Do you think that? There's no way Conor should get a rematch. If he wins comfortably.
Oh, it's contractual. They each have a contractual. The loser can enact. It is a 2-sided rematch.
I know, but do you know what? I also think it depends how the fight goes.
I'm praying there isn't a
second. If the fight is too one-sided, I don't want to see the rematch.
If Eubank does what I think he should do, which is kind of not on the back foot, but jabs his head off and then ties him out and old mans him and uses his size and then knocks him out after 10, but he's won.
I don't think the fight itself is going to be a nasty fight and not in a good way. It's just going to be sluggish. Eubank will come out on top. Both of them will be like, it just won't look nice, especially with Conor off the juice. I mean the eggs. It just won't.
What kind of juice are you talking about? Orange.
Yeah, of course, he has that with his egg Benedict.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Of course. Extremely good. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like any posh University of Nottingham graduate in Balham on Saturday waiting for his eggs Benedict, just queuing up.
Listen, Conor Benn is in all the gentrified areas with, the egg dishes that cost £9 for a centimetre cubed of egg. But
finally, so I persuaded you, which is good. So I've won that. I'm proud. The big rematch this weekend, Michaela Mayer, Sandy Ryan, Paintgate, really looking forward to that fight. Whatever you think about Sandy, unbelievable from her fighting after like 2 hours beforehand, getting attacked and having paint thrown all over her. That must have been a weird situation. So I really do rate.
Your body must be in shock. I'm sorry, when they try to act like Mayer has nothing to do with it. Even she may not have. Your team did. Sandy Ryan is not a big enough name for people to care to sabotage. I'm sorry. Kudos to Mayer for what she's done in the game. You got echeloned. Let me tell you something. Sandy Ryan was not a big enough enemy of the state for fans. People are going on like Sandy was like Bernard Hopkins in Puerto Rico. Like, no. You're like,
Where did they
people
fight? They fight in New York.
they fought in America.
She was
There
an
was
Irish
no
person in New York.
they were not as patriotic for Sandy Ryan to be attacked like that. I'm sorry. It is not as patriotic for Sandy Ryan to get attacked like that just cause. So the fact that to throw paint, it wasn't even that they just threw paint, it's the bucket landed on her as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that those things thrown at Velocity can be heavy. And I remember that like they left marks on her and everything.
And maybe I'm the worst, but even just the shock of just it's not even obviously the paint didn't hurt, but it's more just I'm about to go to fight and I'm kind of already in kind of fight mode, and someone does that, you'd just be discombobulated. So
sure.
Michaela, and let's be honest, she not unlucky. It was a very close fight. It could have easily gone the other way.
As harsh as it sounds, Maya needed the win because after, obviously, you could say she got robbed against Jonas, then you can argue she got robbed against Baumgartner, and her team was probably just like, yo, by any means necessary right now, you just need to be in the win column because the window, as harsh as it sounds, the window of marketing her was on the line.
Yeah, you can't be in all the interviews and talk. She's a great talker. You can't keep talking. You're losing all the, like, you've lost like 3 of your last 4. Everyone be like, yeah, no, that's fun, Michaela, but we'll need to see you win at some point. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. I think Sandy should win it. I'm not saying she will because I thought she won the first one and she did fight angry. You can see.
Wait, is this a top rank card?
Yeah.
Listen,
Robert Arum. Bab.
Robert Arum. I'm so sorry, Sandy. I hope you get another shot somewhere else, but in the infamous words of Adrian Broner, take the L out of lover is over, brother. Unless Sandy gets a stoppage, or it would have to be an absolute, complete shutout. Wait, update from Rico. I'm not even gonna listen, man. Shout out to Frank Warren if that's true. If that is true, Frank Warren, because you know what Triple D is gonna do, right? He saw how good Joseph Parker looked. He's gonna say, yo, at least Joseph Parker gets his fight against Usyk.
I'm taking a hiatus from boxing if Daniel Dubois fights Derek Chisholm.
You know they're gonna make that. If that's legit,
it can't be done.
They are going to make that fight.
I haven't watched like his last 4 fights because we're basically.
Let me tell you something. That is a real card. That is a real card special. That is Derek. Here's your retirement fund. Triple D. Here's a fight to make you look good against a popular guy. And it is nasty.
Ray, say it ain't so. Like, no, I'm not even winding you up for the podcast. It's distressing me. Like, I feel a little bit sick. The thought of it, that I'm gonna have to see like people getting 5 guys and people having to tell me about how great a fighter Derek Chisora was when David Hayes should have ruined his career 11 or 12 years ago. Oh my good lord!
It's more like I said. I'd be more upset if Parker got screwed out of his fight and Parker wasn't getting a world title shot. I'd be more upset. But if Parker gets his guaranteed title shot one way or another.
So you're okay with this?
I'm not okay. But like I said, for me, in that situation, Parker just needs to get his world title shot. That's the most important thing. Parker needs his world title shot. However, it's more upsetting because now Parker, for me, has to face the harder fighter in Usyk, whereas the Triple D fight was more winnable. And this is where this is 3D chess, because if Chisora is the quote unquote mandatory, the next mandatory is out of FA first Bacoli. Imagine if Bacoli wins.
I thought Bacoli went down, or did he not?
No,
I thought he.
I think different depends on the boxing organization. My theory is if this is a mandatory fight, then Triple D then gets his mandatory out of the way, and then he gets to avoid Bacoli as well.
Can I quickly name 10 people I prefer to see Daniel Dubois fight?
Go on.
Kabayel. Is it Makhmadov? Terramoana.
Yeah.
Terramoana. Obviously, Atalma, Moses and Carroll, both Atalmas.
I don't know if the time was ready, but I don't want to rush him.
Who Del Boy is? Okay, right, cool.
No, but they are in two different parts of their
Fabrizio Wardley, much prefer to see that. Lawrence Okoli, Richard Riakpo, Martin Bocconi.
Stop. I am not letting you get away with that. What the hell is Richard Riakpo that laid the egg against Chris Billum-Smith?
Kevin Lorena, the bouncer at my local pub. I think he's a heavyweight. He's got to be over 14 stone 4. David Hay on 1 or 0 legs. Maybe David in a wheelchair. That
is funny.
Zhang. Any random Saudi man that's over 14 stone 4 that they want to sponsor as a Riyadh season ambassador. Anyone that's ever been at Bridgerweight, just take that whole Bridgerweight.
Derek Chisora is cashing out. Listen.
Was he called Rositsky? The one that
I don't even know, but
yeah, the one that Okoli beat to win the Bridgerweight title.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Do you want me to keep going? I think I just saw my local bus driver as well. Him. My family
wants to cash out, and Frank Warren said, "Wait there, I've got the right thing for you." It's like Frank Warren was in a shop and he just told him, "Wait right there. I've got the right thing for you, mate."
Can I add another one? Eddie Hearn.
That's hilarious.
Eddie Hearn over Derek. This is Ray. You're taking it far too. I know you're a big Parker fan, so that's where your head's at. This is an utter disgrace. An utter. Who's Del Boy's last 3 fights been? He beat Joe Joyce.
Insert Drogba meme.
Yeah. Who did he beat?
He beat he beat
Joe Joyce, but
not Joe Joyce. Who's the one he beat after Joe Joyce? He beat someone, the left-hander.
Oh, Filip Hrgović. Much prefer to see him too.
Not even her. Who did he beat again? The one that AJ knocked out when he was with Derek James. What's his name again?
Obviously not.
And he cut Fury.
Oh, Otto Wallin. Yeah. The tall man's George Kambosos did one thing and has had like 6 fights at the back of it. Andy Ruiz, whether he's 22 or 14 stone, prefer to see him. Oh, is it David Ruiz, the guy that David Hay beat when in his first fight at heavyweight?
You're taking it too far. Respect
Am I? Otto Wallin and Joe Joyce gives you the IBF, the mandatory position for Daniel Dubois.
Listen, man, as long as Parker gets his title fight, and if Del Boy gets, it's a nasty matchup, point blank, period. Because at the end of the day, that Piccoli for FA should be the fight to be the mandatory. So I'm just gonna hope that it's a nasty rumor. But for now,
John Charles fight hit Daniel Dubois.
We can't go into it too much right now because it is just a rumor. But on that note, I'll try to keep these short, but we just enjoy ourselves all the time, and we're here now. Hopefully, all those that have tuned in, thank you, much love. I hope you've enjoyed. But final words, Mr. Future Undisputed.
Team Eubank over ferociously average Kambosos all day, every day. To the world and back.
To the world and back. And on that note, this episode has been sponsored by D-Rock. Go use the iBoxingHub discount. Check out their gear on social media. Also check us out on iBoxingHub, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook if you would. I don't even know we're on Facebook, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Share us on Facebook if we're not on Facebook. Like, subscribe, comment. People, until the next time.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. Light up my scars with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by the end.